A warm good afternoon to all the invited guests. Let's connect the world through science. Living in a world where vaccination has become an everyday word, to quote Louis Pasteur, science knows no country because knowledge belongs to all humanity, and it is the torch which illuminates the whole world. Respected chief guest and invited dignitaries who have gathered here, a very warm good afternoon. On behalf of the Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation, it is my honor to invite your attention to the science talk on the theme Connect the World Through Science and the relaunch of Vikram Sarabhai Science School, realigned to the new National Education Policy 2020, and to further collaborate the thoughts on how science can connect and create a better posterity. Prayer works wonders, thinking of the supreme power beyond all human understanding. Let's now invoke the blessings of the God Almighty. I request you all to kindly rise for the prayer.
शंकराचार्य मध्यमा अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्ता वन्दे गुरु परंपरा वन्दे
May I graciously invite Mrs. Sujitra Shaijant, Director VSSF, Principal Pragati Academy, Regional Coordinator National Testing Agency and CBSE Resource Person for the formal welcome note.
Good afternoon and warm greetings to the most distinguished guest of the day, Honorable Minister Sri Muralidharan ji, and all the invited guests who are so renowned in various arenas of their work. I'm extremely delighted to welcome all of you to this August gathering, where we are connecting ourselves at a very, very challenging times. Though we know it is a very challenging time, we have taken that kind of precautions to ensure that we all are safe. So with that note, I would like to formally give a brief background about the thought which has run for organizing an event of this nature by the Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation. Though all of you are very well aware and very connected to the Vikram Sarabhai Science family from the very inception onwards, I would just like to throw some light about the thoughts which has gone in for a project like this and why we have made a realignment to the new national education policy also. In fact, to give a small background to this, this was initially conceived and put forward by the legendary, the 11th President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, along with great visionaries who have traveled along with them while traveling to NASA. They thought that, we need something where children can think, dream and reimagine science in India also. That is where the thought process came in. And in the year 2011, the concept was seeded along with Dr. G. Madhavan Nair sir and Dr. Indra Rajan ma'am, along with many other visionaries whom I may not be able to name at this point of time, but innumerable other contributions which has gone into the thought process of Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation. In fact, we all are well aware and well savvy to the requirement of science and technology in our country. Science and technology post-independence has made a tremendous breakthrough. It has made a lot of changes in the field of medicine, in the field of research, in the field of information technology, defense, you name it. Science and technology has made a lot of advancements. Still there is a lot of requirement, a lot of need to make challenging breakthroughs. We all know that, we have reached everywhere from moon to Mars. We are there everywhere. Even now, when the last year, in 2020, we have gone through the most challenging times, but during that time also, our pharma companies have made such breakthrough innovations in the field of vaccines, and we were able to connect to the rest of the parts of the globe through that. So that's all as a result, that's all possible as a result of the technological advancement our country has made. But whatever we have made is history. What is going to be made is going to be looked upon. So definitely we thought that organizations like us should be making impactful contributions in the life of learners. We all talk about the statistics of the percentage of the youth in our country, which is one of the largest in terms of the global scenario. So there, if you just look in, we have a tremendous scope and opportunity to make sure that science grows in the country. Though lots of things grow very well, but the growth phase of science is rather little slower as compared to all the other sectors. So it is time that we connect with the tagline, we connect through science in various arenas. And that is what the core philosophy of Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation is all about. And whenever we thought about how do we connect through science, because science is everywhere, but science is invisible. That is the sad part of it. It's there everywhere, it's there within us, it's around us, but how do we physically monitor it? That is always a challenge. And how do we tap the resource to channel into science? That was a big challenge, and that is always a question. How do we connect? How do we make children inclined, or how do you make students get accommodated in science? So for that, we connected through three of the main segments of Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation. One is our outreach activities, which actually runs in the rural area. So visibly, many of our activities are not within Cochin. Most of our activities are outside the state of Kerala itself. So through our outreach activities, we're connected to almost 1.8 lakh students across the country from 2011. Almost 9,000 impactful teachers have been touched upon. Almost 3,500 schools have become beneficiaries of all our outreach activities. Apart from that, another activity which we do is in the year 2013, we started our Vikram Sarabhai Science Gallery, and the stalwarts in science, the ISRO itself, the VSSC itself, started the first space science gallery for the Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation, which actually becomes operational during the World Space Week activities from October 4th to 10th. So this is the way by which we connect. But when we connect outside, we wanted to make sure that our presence is felt within where we were born. And that is when we thought that we should think about something where we can show a substantial contribution in science, and where we see that children grow thinking science, not only in science but in any branches wherever they touch upon. And that is why the Vikram Sarabhai Science School was envisioned. And in 2015 we had the fortune of having the former president of the French Space Agency, Dr. Yannick D'Escasta, and NASA astronaut James Rayleigh to make the vision plan and think about it. And we have embarked on the project. Now we are at a phase where the government of India, Ministry of Education very primarily, has rolled out the new national education policy. Though national education policy is a very touchy matter for many state governments and all that, but being the schools which function under the government of India, it becomes mandatory that we follow the new national education education policy, which is probably envisioned, 20 years, 30 or 40 or 50 years ahead of now. And whenever Dr. Kalam used to speak about Vision 2020, we always used to think that, okay, when he spoke about Vision 2020 in 2005, we were thinking, oh, 2020 is far away. But 2020 was not far away. Probably 2020 he envisioned to make it as a benchmark to leap to a different vision for maybe a 50 or 60 years ahead from then on. So now it is the right time to pitch in, where all of us as educators, as people in the administrative sector, people in the academia, people in various sectors, there are people from higher education who are involved with VSSF to ensure that it reaches to various segments of people. And that is how we are connecting to various segments of society. And in fact, we had the fortune to have the best of the thought process in terms of scientific resource in India. For example, we are connected with the National Center for Earth Sciences. Their resource people are the resource people for our initiatives. Then we are connected with the Department of Atomic Energy. We are connected with the Indian Institute of Astrophysics. So all these resource people get connected with our learners and they start mentoring our students. So we have seen almost like 300 and odd students who have been mentored during this process, and they have made their first step towards great achievements in science. So these are the, though I said that science is not visible, these are the visible or tangible results what we see in terms of science. Now today, connecting the world through science is the core theme, and we have just kept a tagline, Beyond Tomorrow, because tomorrow is very, very near. So we thought we'll just, very casually, one of our great, I won't say associates, one of our great visionary person, Vijayan sir, when he walked in, he asked me, what do you mean by beyond tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? I said, no sir, it is infinity. So he said, okay, then it sounds better. So it is not just for tomorrow, it is for many, many years from tomorrow what we want. That is what we need to seed in here. And that is why we are proposing a Vikram Sarabhai Science Museum, where we have the resource from Keshav Das sir, who is looking at the projects of that, to ensure that this program goes to a maximum number of students, where various industries and establishments come under one banner and create opportunities for scientific research for students. So we just want to ensure that the museum becomes a hub for people, not only to see things and walk around, but to realize and make it into a reality. That is what the museum envisions. Also, we propose to have the Vikram Sarabhai Science School realigned to the new national education policy here today. Also, it is not only necessary to teach them and leave them, it's very important to root them and channel them also. And hence, the higher age group students, that is 16 to 18 is the most rightful age where children make the most important decision of their life as to what they do and how they do. So we thought we'll touch upon that aspect also, and that is why we have proposed Pragati Innovative School here, which will cater to the grade 11th and 12th standard exclusively under the school scheme of the Department of General Education, Government of Kerala, where a prime emphasis will be for giving training in all the branches, not only in science, everything in any of the branches of science. So this is what the Pragati Innovative School proposes to. So this is just the background I quickly thought I would rush upon, so that you will have an idea about what we are doing. Now I will come to the responsibility which is enshouldered on me, is to welcome this most erudite gathering here today. I do not know where to start, because everyone is one more eminent than the other. Obviously, I am extremely, extremely delighted to have the gracious presence of Sri V. Muralidharan ji, the Honorable Minister of State for External and Parliamentary Affairs, to grace this day and start the talk on Connect the World Through Science. On behalf of all of us gathered here, I take this opportunity to welcome you, sir, to this august gathering. So we request you to accept this book. This is a book on Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. May I now take the opportunity, in fact the function was going to be presided by Dr. G. Madhavan Nair sir, who was supposed to connect us through Zoom, but due to some unavoidable situations, he's having some dry cough, so he's unable to join in Zoom, and so in absentia, I take this opportunity to welcome him because he is the strength. Every small, minor, major, whatever changes happens around, he is the person who makes the decision. So on behalf of all the VSSF team, I take this opportunity to welcome sir. Also, I take the opportunity to welcome a very, very dear friend who has joined us here, Mr. Sri Shant. I welcome you, Sri, to this function. Though you know the activities of VSSF in the past, I think this is the first time you are coming after a long time. So, 10 years. Welcome you, Sri. Also, may I take the opportunity to welcome Vijayan sir to our function. Though sir is not supposed to be, he said he wants to stay away, but I cannot stop my words. I am extremely delighted and glad, and thank you for your gracious presence. May I take the opportunity to welcome E. Nandakumar sir, the former executive director of BPCL, and also he's in the advisory board of the Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation. May I welcome Dr. K.K. Saju. He is the syndicate member for the Cochin University of Science and Technology, and he is the head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering for CUSAT. I welcome you, sir. Also, may I welcome all the distinguished guests in person on behalf of the VSSF family. I welcome Keshav Das sir, who is the person who is behind the museum project, who is tirelessly working to make a difference in Cochin. I welcome you, Keshav Das sir, to this function. Also, may I welcome George sir and everyone in person to this guest gathering. So that's all. Thank you so much. May I welcome Indra ma'am, who is the strength, the pillar, the guiding spirit for all our initiatives. Also, I thank all of you for your visit to this event in spite of all these challenges what we see around. Thank you so much, and thank you for the patient listening.
I would like to draw your attention towards the activities at VSSF through a AV.
Time and space, evolving, mysterious as ever. The more we know, the more we discover the unknown yonder. Vedic literature, as we know today, is the source of many ancient sciences which still hold sway. Ayurveda, astronomy, mathematics, geometry, particle physics, aerodynamics, surgery are just few disciplines that comes to mind. Sushruta Samhita, Charaka Samhita, Aryabhatiya were path-breaking treatises which the world discovered only few hundred years ago. These great sages helped us to see and understand our world and what lay beyond. More recently, India has proved to the world the quality of its scientific temperament with her illustrious scientists and geniuses like Ramanujam, C.V. Raman, J.C. Bose, Homi J. Bhabha, Vikram Sarabhai, A.P.J. Abdul Kalam and S. Swaminathan, to name a few. Science and scientific research got a boost in the years after independence when our visionary and geniuses like Ramanujam, C.V. Raman, J.C. Bose, Homi J. Bhabha, Vikram Sarabhai, A.P.J. Abdul Kalam and S. Swaminathan, to name a few. Science and scientific research got a boost in the years after independence when our visionary leaders foresaw the power of science unleashed in a constructive manner. IITs, ICARs, CSIR, ISRO, DRDO, established by the then government, young generation who can reach the stars in the years to come. To mold such a generation, we need the right stimuli and environment for the germination of original concepts, hypotheses, and research. an environment that is receptive and responsive to the inquiring minds and dynamic enough to spur them in the long quest to seek answers and to prove what they believe in. VSSF, initiated as a dream collectively by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, and Dr. Indira Rajan, to empower our youth to embrace science positively. Here at the Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation, we provide the right milieu that opens the horizons of knowledge, explains science in the simplest manner, warms you up to the untold secrets of the universe, teases the intellect, and provides guidance to see beyond. Initiated and inaugurated by the 11th President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, in the year 2011, the park is a dream none too small. It encompasses within its ambit a full-fledged science museum, space gallery, a science school, and numerous initiatives to inculcate a love for science and a temper for research in as many students as it can reach out to. Spread in the suburbs of Cochin, VSSF promises an out-of-the-world experience, symposias and discussions on cutting-edge technologies, frontier research and fundamental research by scientists of repute from around the world makes the atmosphere lively and prods one to think and involve more into the fundamental aspects of science. It has enthused thousands of science enthusiasts from across the country. Being patronized by stalwarts of space science, it was but natural that the first of the galleries planned was dedicated to space research by the Vikram Sarabhai Space Centre, Trivandrum. Inaugurated by former director of VSSC, Dr. P.S. Veeraraghavan, is a great attraction for students who is in awe of the universe. The exhibits show the growth and development of Indian space program from the first satellite to Chandrayaan and further to PSLVs. The proposed Vikram Sarabhai Science Museum will open its doors to students by early 2022. The museum will be a refreshing change to exciting museums of the kind. The interactive sessions at the museum are on a larger canvas. VSSF will help all enthusiasts to comprehend the mysteries and prospects of science. Making science popular and adding more to the science fraternity is the vision of the science initiatives at the park. The initiatives include the regular programs at educational institutions, contests, competitions, workshops, outreach programs, etc. The outreach programs has connected students in far-flung and rural areas to find answers to their queries in science. At Vikram Sarabhai Science School, we intend to mold the enthusiasts of tomorrow, hone and sharpen the skills, nurture the inquisitive mind, ignite their imagination, all under the watchful and experienced eyes of professionals. An initiative of Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation, the school is an embodiment of the vision of some of the great scientists and academicians of our times. We welcome each one of you to the portals of science, where we create a futuristic, experiential learning atmosphere for the generations to come. Let's relive the quote of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam through the portals of VSSF. Dream, dream, dream. Dream transformed to thoughts and thoughts into action.
Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation has been a collaborative dream of many stalwarts in science. Padma Vibhushan Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, Chairman Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation, former Chairman ISRO, the visionary genius behind India's Chandrayaan mission, is a keen enthusiast to promote the basis of future science education in the society. Dr. Madhavan Nair sir was to attend today's event, but due to certain unavoidable situations, he will not be joining us. But he has wholeheartedly conveyed his blessings and good wishes to us. Thank you, sir. No adjectives can compare Dr. Indira Rajan, Managing Director, Pragati Academy, CEO, VSSF, Secretary General, National Council of CBSE Schools, Founder Secretary, Raja Varma Foundation, Kavadiyar Palace, who has a Midas touch in all the arenas of activities. A person who humbly connects with nature, people around, education, science, social activities, and furthermore, entrepreneurship. Innumerable are the areas touched upon by her. Most instrumental in sharing a dream with late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and Dr. G. Madhavan Nair for project of this nature and prospects. May I humbly request you, ma'am, to kindly share the vision, the dream, and the path ahead. Welcome you, ma'am.
Honorable Minister, Sri V. Muralidharan sir, Sri P. Vijayan IPS, DIG, distinguished guests from all walks of life, my dear friends, salutations to you all. ഭൂമിയിലേക്ക് ചില നക്ഷത്രങ്ങൾ പിറന്നു വീഴും. അത് ഭൂമിയിൽ സ്നേഹത്തെക്കുറിച്ച്, സത്യത്തെക്കുറിച്ച്, സഹിഷ്ണുതയെക്കുറിച്ച് പഠിപ്പിച്ചുകൊണ്ടേയിരിക്കും. അത്രമേൽ സങ്കടത്തിൽ അതണഞ്ഞു പോയിട്ടും അതിൻ്റെ സ്നേഹസുരഭിലമായ അന്തരീക്ഷം ഭൂമിയിൽ നിറഞ്ഞു നിൽക്കും. നമ്മളിലേക്കൊരു നക്ഷത്രമായി പിറന്ന് ശാസ്ത്രത്തിൻ്റെ ദുരൂഹതയെ സ്നേഹാന്തരീക്ഷമായി വിവർത്തനം ചെയ്ത് നമ്മളിൽ നിന്നും അകന്നിട്ടും അകലാത്ത മഹാപ്രതിഭ ഡോക്ടർ APJ അബ്ദുൽ കലാം. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു വിഷനാണ് ഇന്ന് ഇവിടെ ഈ കണ്ട എല്ലാം തന്നെ. അദ്ദേഹത്തോടൊപ്പം 2008 നാസ വിസിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനുള്ളൊരു അവസരം എനിക്ക് ലഭിക്കുകയുണ്ടായി. അതൊരു മഹാഭാഗ്യമായിട്ട് തന്നെ കാണാം. അന്ന് അവിടെ ചെല്ലുന്ന സമയത്ത് 8th 9th ഗ്രേഡിലുള്ള കുട്ടികളെ അവിടുന്ന് കാണാനിടയായി. അവർ രാജ്യത്തിൻ്റെ വിവിധ ഭാഗങ്ങളിൽ നിന്ന് അവിടെ വന്ന് അവിടെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് സ്പെഷ്യൽ ട്രെയിനിങ് ഒക്കെ കൊടുക്കുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ കുട്ടികളുമായിട്ട് ഇൻട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്ത സമയത്ത് എൻ്റെ മനസ്സിൽ കൂടി കടന്നുപോയൊരാശയം, നമ്മുടെ നാട്ടിൽ എത്രയോ നല്ല മക്കളുണ്ട്, എത്രയോ മിടുമിടുക്കന്മാരായ കുട്ടികളുണ്ട്. അവർക്ക് കാലാകാലങ്ങളിൽ ശരിയായ ട്രെയിനിങ് ലഭിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഈ കണ്ട കുട്ടികളിലൊക്കെ എത്രയോ മിടുക്കന്മാരായിട്ടുള്ള ശാസ്ത്രജ്ഞരെ നമ്മുടെ രാഷ്ട്രത്തിന് സമ്മാനിക്കുന്നതിന് സാധിക്കും. ഈ ഒരു ആശയം ആദരണീയനായ മുൻ രാഷ്ട്രപതി ഡോക്ടർ APJ അബ്ദുൽ കലാമുമായിട്ട് ഞാൻ സംസാരിച്ചു. പിന്നീടുള്ള ഞങ്ങളുടെ കൂടിക്കാഴ്ചകളിലെല്ലാം തന്നെ ഈ വിഷയമായിരുന്നു സംസാരിച്ചത്. അങ്ങനെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ മനസ്സിൽ ഉയർന്നു വന്ന ഒരാശയം അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ സന്തത സഹചാരിയായിരുന്ന ഒരേ വേദിയിൽ ഒന്നിച്ച് പ്രവർത്തിച്ചു കൊണ്ടിരുന്ന മഹാവ്യക്തിത്വമായ ഡോക്ടർ G. മാധവൻ നായർ സാറുമായിട്ടും ഷെയർ ചെയ്തു. അങ്ങനെ ഈ ഒരു പ്രസ്ഥാനം അവരുടെ രണ്ടുപേരുടെയും അതിൻ്റെ ഒപ്പം തന്നെ താങ്ങും തണലുമായിട്ട് എൻ്റെ എല്ലാ പ്രവർത്തനത്തിനും കൂട്ടായി നിൽക്കുന്നത് കവടിയാർ പാലസ് പ്രിൻസസ് അശ്വതി തിരുനാൾ ഗൗരി ലക്ഷ്മിബായി തമ്പുരാട്ടിയാണ്. ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഈ കൂട്ടായ്മയിൽ നിന്നാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു പ്രസ്ഥാനത്തിന് തുടക്കം കുറിച്ചത്. പക്ഷേ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ വേർപാട് ഈ ഒരു മേഖലയിൽ ഞങ്ങളുടെ പ്രവർത്തനത്തിന് അല്പം മാന്യത സംഭവിച്ചു പോയോ എന്ന് തോന്നിപ്പോകുന്നുണ്ട്. എന്നിരുന്നാലും അദ്ദേഹം എന്ത് വിഭാവനം ചെയ്തോ അത് പൂർണ്ണതയിൽ എത്തിക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയുള്ളൊരു പ്രയാണമായിരുന്നു പിന്നീട് അങ്ങോട്ട് നടന്നത് എന്നത് ഇവിടെ മാഡം സുചിത്ര പ്രസൻറ്റ് ചെയ്തതിൽ നിന്ന് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നതിന് സാധിക്കും. കേരളത്തിലല്ല, കേരളത്തിന് പുറത്ത് തന്നെയായിട്ട് ഏകദേശം 1.5 ലക്ഷത്തിലധികം കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഇതിൻ്റെ കീഴിൽ പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ 90,000-ഓളം അധ്യാപകർ ട്രെയിനിങ്, അങ്ങനെ വലിയൊരു വാസ്റ്റ് ഏരിയ ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്രവർത്തനത്തിൽ കൂടി അതിനെല്ലാം സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്ത് കിട്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നത് മിനിസ്ട്രി ഓഫ് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ, ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഓഫ് ഇന്ത്യയാണ്. അങ്ങനെ ആ ഒരു പ്രസ്ഥാനം ഉയർന്നു വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത് അത് ഇന്നൊരു പുതിയ തുടക്കം കുറിക്കുകയാണ്. നമുക്കെല്ലാം അറിയാം, ഒരു നൂതന വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ സമ്പ്രദായം, ഒരു നാഷണൽ ദേശീയ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പോളിസി നിലവിൽ വന്നിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഘടകമെന്ന് പറയുന്നത് 5+3+3+4 എന്ന 4 ഘട്ടങ്ങളായിട്ടാണ് ഹാൻഡ്സ് ഓൺ ലേണിംഗ് കുട്ടികളെല്ലാം ചെയ്തു പഠിക്കുക. അവർ പുസ്തകങ്ങളുടെ താളുകളിൽ മാത്രം ഒതുങ്ങി നിൽക്കാതെ വിഷയം എന്തവർ പഠിക്കുന്നോ അത് വളരെ നല്ല രീതിയിൽ മനസ്സിലാക്കി പഠിച്ചെടുക്കുന്ന ഒരു സമ്പ്രദായം, അത് ചെയ്തു പഠിച്ച് അങ്ങനെ ഒരു പ്രത്യേക രീതിയിലാണ് ഇത് വിഭാവനം ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. ഒരു വലിയ ഏരിയ തന്നെയാണ്, അതിനെക്കുറിച്ചൊന്നും ഞാൻ അധികം പറയാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നില്ല ഇപ്പോൾ. ആ ഒരു ഭാവനയെ, ആ ഒരു വിഷൻ NEP നാഷണൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പോളിസിയിൽ ഊന്നൽ കൊടുത്തുകൊണ്ട് ഇതിൻ്റെ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഫേസ് കഴിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നു. ഫസ്റ്റ് 5 ഇയേഴ്സ് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് കടന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നു. ഇനി നെക്സ്റ്റ് 3 ഇയേഴ്സ്, അതായത് 5+3+3+4 എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ആദ്യം pre-KG, KG, UKG, ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ്, സെക്കൻഡ് സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ്, അങ്ങനെ 5 വർഷം. 5 വർഷത്തിൻ്റെ പൂർണ്ണമായിരിക്കുന്നു. നേരത്തെ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ ക്ലാസ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് 5 വർഷത്തെ ക്ലാസ് നടക്കുന്നു. ദ സെക്കൻഡ് സ്റ്റേജ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് 3, 4, 5 ക്ലാസ്സാണ്. +3 അത് ഇന്ന് ഇവിടെ സെക്കൻഡ് സ്റ്റേജ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഇയറിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ വിഭാവനം ചെയ്യുന്നത് നെക്സ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റേജ്, അതായത് +3, അതായത് 6, 7, 8. ദെൻ നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഇയറിലെ 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 അങ്ങനെ 4 സ്റ്റേജായിട്ട് ന്യൂ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പോളിസി ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന, ഒരു പക്ഷേ കേരളത്തിലെന്നല്ല ഇന്ത്യയിൽ തന്നെ ആദ്യത്തെ ഒരു സ്ഥാപനമാണോ എന്ന് ഉറപ്പില്ല. എന്നിരുന്നാൽ തന്നെയും പറയുകയാണ്, അത്ര സൂപ്പറായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സിസ്റ്റമാണ് ന്യൂ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ പോളിസിയിൽ കൂടി കുട്ടികളിലേക്ക് ഇറക്കാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നത്. ആ ഒരു സംരംഭത്തിൻ്റെ ഒരു റീലോഞ്ച് എന്ന് വേണം ഇന്നിവിടെ പറയാൻ. ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രി ഇന്നിവിടെ ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്ന ആ ഒരു സത്കർമ്മം. ഇൻ അഡീഷൻ ടു ദാറ്റ്, വൺ മോർ തിങ് വി വുഡ് ലൈക്ക് ടു റിമൈൻഡ് യു. ഇന്ന് ഇവിടെ പ്രഗതി ഇന്നൊവേറ്റീവ് സ്കൂൾ എന്ന ഒരു പ്രസ്ഥാനത്തിനും തുടക്കം കുറിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അത് ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ മേഖല നമുക്കെല്ലാം അറിയാം, വളരെ മത്സരാധിഷ്ഠിതമായ പഠന രീതിയിൽ കൂടിയാണ് കടന്നുപോയിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. എല്ലാ മേഖലയിലും മത്സരങ്ങളാണ്. അല്പം മത്സര പരീക്ഷകൾക്ക് കുട്ടികളെ പഠനത്തോടൊപ്പം പ്രാപ്തമാക്കുക, അതൊരു ഭാരമാകാതെ അവർ വളരെ ലഘുവായ രീതിയിൽ ദൈനംദിനം അവർക്ക് സിസ്റ്റമാറ്റിക് ട്രെയിനിങ് കൊടുത്തുകൊണ്ട് പോകുന്ന ഒരു സംവിധാനം, അങ്ങനെ ഒരു പഠന മാധ്യമം കണ്ടെത്തുന്ന, അതിങ്ങനെ ഒരു പഠന രീതി ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി +1 ക്ലാസ്സുകൾ ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഓഫ് കേരളയുടെ കീഴിലുള്ള ഒരു +1 ക്ലാസ്സും ഇവിടെ ആരംഭിക്കുകയാണ്. അതോടൊപ്പം അതിന് ട്രെയിനിങ്ങും കൊടുക്കുകയാണ്. അതിൻ്റെ ട്രെയിനിങ് സിസ്റ്റത്തിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്തു പോകുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി റിജു ആൻഡ് PSK എന്ന ഒരു പ്രോജക്റ്റ്, അതിൻ്റെ പ്രസ്ഥാനം, ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഭാഗമായിട്ട് അവരുടെ ഒരു അക്കാഡമിക് അസിസ്റ്റൻസും കൂടെ കൊടുത്ത് വിക്രം സാരാഭായി സയൻസ് ഫൗണ്ടേഷൻ്റെ കീഴിലൊരു സ്കൂളും തുടക്കം കുറിക്കുന്നത്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് പ്രഗതി ഇന്നൊവേറ്റീവ് സ്കൂൾ. കൂടാതെ ബാക്കി വിഷയങ്ങളെല്ലാം തന്നെ ഇവിടെ മാഡം സുചിത്ര സംസാരിച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ ഈ ഒരു പ്രസ്ഥാനത്തിന് ഭാവുകങ്ങളെ ആശംസിക്കുന്നതിനും ഇതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമാകുന്നതിനും വന്നു ചേർന്ന എല്ലാ മഹത് വ്യക്തിത്വങ്ങളോടും അകമഴിഞ്ഞ കടപ്പാടും സ്നേഹവുമുണ്ട്. എന്താണ് മഹാന്മാരായ വ്യക്തിത്വങ്ങൾ കണ്ട വിഷൻ എന്തോ അത് പൂർത്തീകരിച്ച് സമൂഹത്തിലെ രാഷ്ട്രത്തിനുതകുന്ന നല്ല വ്യക്തിത്വങ്ങളെ വാർത്തെടുത്ത് വിടുക, അതാണ് ഇതിൻ്റെ പരമമായ ലക്ഷ്യം. അതിലേക്ക് ഒരു അവസരം നമുക്കുണ്ടാക്കി തന്ന ജഗദീശ്വരനോട് നന്ദി പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എല്ലാവിധമായിട്ടുള്ള ആയുരാരോഗ്യവും നേർന്നുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ വാക്കുകൾ ഉപസംഹരിക്കുന്നു. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം, ജയ് ഹിന്ദ്.
Thank you, ma'am, for your thoughts. Now we have a blessing address by Princess Ashwati Tirunal Gauri Lakshmi Bhai, patron of VSSF.
I am very happy to associate myself with this function today. And initially, let me convey all am very happy to associate myself with this function today. And initially, let me convey all my best wishes to the Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation, which has been doing very active work in Cochin area. When I say Cochin area, I am only talking about the physical presence. It is situated there, but its area or orbit of operation is definitely very wide. Science, as we know, plays a very important part in the destiny of mankind. We know that a coin has two sides. Like that, science also. Science can create, science can destroy. In this case, the positive aspects of science and technology, how it can serve man to lead better quality, quantity life, to progress in the path of positive action and thought, are all encompassed in this foundation. That it has got big names associated with it is definitely a big plus point. I am sorry I am unable to be there today due to the restraints of the pandemic. But sitting in Thiruvananthapuram, I send my sincere greetings for today's function and to the foundation and to everybody who has worked behind it. Though I have been told not to mention names, I feel that it would be remiss on my part if I don't mention at least one name, that of Indira Rajan. Anyway, all the very best to all of you. May God's blessings be there to guide you onward. Thank you.
Thank you, Princess Ashwati Tirunal, for the kind words. A lighted lamp throws in a sense of goodness, blessings, and knowledge. I cordially invite the esteemed guests of honor, Honorable Minister Shri Muralidharanji, Dr. Indira Rajan, Dr. Saju KK, P. Vijayan IPS, Shri George Thomas, E. Nandakumar, Mrs. Suchitra Shaijint, for lighting the lamp and launching the activities of VSSF and to formally inaugurate the event.
All the very best for the
Muralidharan sir, if you could stay back for the inaugural address. Sir, kindly please stay back for the inaugural address. Now we have the inaugural address by the Honorable Minister of State for External and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of India, Shri V. Muralidharan sir. He will be emphasizing on the relevance of scientific and experiential learning in the context of the National Educational Policy 2020. His years of experience rendering his services for nation building has proved very positively for organizational growth at varying levels. May I humbly request you, sir, to share your thoughts on connecting the world through science.
Dr. Indira Rajan, Srimati Suchitra Shaijint, Sri P. Vijayan, Sri George Thomas, Dr. Saju, Keshavadas, Sri Shant, other distinguished guests, faculty and staff, Namaskaram, and a very good afternoon to all of you. I am glad to be here today at the launch of the Pragati Innovative School Initiative at this esteemed institution. I am confident that the initiative will provide thrust on training grade 1, 11 and 12 students for various competitive exams rooted in the state syllabus. Friends, as you are aware, India has been at steady pace of growth and development but for this deadly pandemic. India today is in a position to contribute to the global capacity in a big way. Our advances in the IT field and services sector are well known, and today India is looked up with much expectation. India has emerged as a powerful entity, not only showcasing its soft power, but also an important partner for development. The major challenges that 2020 put before the world helped India emerge as a front runner in underscoring the critical role of science and technology. Our ability to produce life-saving medicines, develop homegrown vaccines, to producing vaccines at a massive scale for the world has shown the world the capability of the new India. The new India brings positive transformations for a safe, secure, better society, not only for the present but also for the future. The country pole vaulted into one of the top nations in science and technology indices and reached laudable positions in several domains of science and technology innovations. India is placed the third among countries in scientific publication as per National Science Foundation database. The country has featured within the top 50 innovative economies globally as per the Global Innovation Index. It has also reached the third position in terms of number of PhDs, in the size of the higher education system, as well as in terms of number of startups. India has emerged as an inevitable member of leading international scientific coalitions, notably global efforts in vaccine research, development and supply, and global partnership on artificial intelligence, to name a few. India was selected as chair of the World Health Organization's Executive Board, which is yet another remarkable achievement and recognition of India's science and technology prowess. Several countries in the world are keen to participate in various training programs conducted in India. The training programs of the Ministry of External Affairs are well recognized and sought after by foreign government officials, students, think tanks, etc. We have contributed to increasing the capacities of friendly countries in various forms such as civilian and military training programs in India, training on-site abroad, deputation of Indian experts, establishment of centers of excellence in IT and vocational training centers. Friends, as you are aware, the new Education Policy 2020 announced by the government makes no hard classifications between arts and sciences, between curricular and extracurricular activities, between vocational and academic streams in order to eliminate the harmful hierarchies existing between different areas of learning. The NEP 2020 aims to provide character building and transforming education in a way that the finished products, that the students are well armed to take on the world. With the increasing focus on STEM, that's the science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Education, it is STEM education. It is imperative that our institutions devise new teaching methods for the younger generation to train in line with the ever-evolving requirements of a changing world. During the pandemic, teachers have once again stepped in and adapted to the changing classroom scenario and new teaching methods to support the students. They have done their utmost to help by encouraging and motivating the students to perform optimally and achieve their targets. The new initiative that is being in a way launched here, titled very aptly Beyond Tomorrow, and to connecting through science, connect the world through science. It's a very noble effort in accordance with the times, adapting ourselves to the change that is happening around, and which will help leverage the position of India in the global scenario. India is the youngest country in the world by its population. And the world expects much from the young generation of India. In fact, many of our youngsters who go abroad and strives for options and opportunities abroad was the scenario a few years ago. But now the world is coming to India to explore what India has to offer. And if we need to attract more such manpower from across the world, we need to develop our infrastructure in training, in scientific innovations, in centers where the can get trained in various new technologies that are emerging. So I would suggest that this institution, which has been founded, which has been initiated, which was a dream of our late visionary president, whom we can say the scientist president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, his vision can be transformed into action. His vision can be, his dream can be transformed into action. His vision can be realized through this institution. And I am sure that the Science Museum which Suchitra was mentioning here, I am aware that the Government of India has expressed its interest in establishing such a center in Cochin. Kerala doesn't have a science museum in that sense of the term. We have heard of the Science Museum in Kolkata, but in the down south, we don't have many such institutions, even though Kerala can always boast to have the ISRO, the Vikram Sarabhai Space Centers, one of the best institutions in Trivandrum. We have many institutions where the modern innovations, modern experiments in various fields of science and technology that happens, science which trigger changes and transformation in various aspects of life, all these are there. But many times what happens is the youngsters are not, or I would say they don't have the opportunity to know what is happening in these institutions. Very recently I had the opportunity to visit the Bharat Petroleum refinery, Cochin refinery, the new petrochemical complex. When the inauguration was to happen, under the hands of the, with the hands of the, by the hands of the Prime Minister. I would say that if our students get an opportunity, students who are in the age group of maybe 13, 14, 15, they get an opportunity to see, to visit such institutions, whether it is the Bharat Petroleum, the refinery, or our FACT, which is the first fertilizer plant in the government sector in the whole of India. This would give rise to new ideas, germination of ideas in the minds of the young brains, young minds. So I would say that I'm not looking at a scenario where this Vikram Sarabhai Space Foundations, this campus will have everything related to science located here. But let this be a bridge, let it be an agency, let this be a sort of a connect. When you say that connect the world through science, in Cochin, in Kerala, there are many such institutions which the young minds, if they are made aware of, where if they get an opportunity to see what is happening there, we will definitely able to create many more brilliant minds, brilliant young scientists who will be able to contribute to the betterment of the living standards of the common people. Ultimately, science is meant for bettering the lives of the people. Science is not meant for its own innovations and experiments. Ultimately, every scientific invention is expected to make a better living for the people of this whole world. So if we can, in a way, do that, or in a way we can promote that, we can bring the students of the whole, maybe surroundings, and utilize or take up or bring their minds, trigger their thinking to go forward. That would be a great contribution by the VSSF. That's the thinking behind the days we had. When we say about education, we meant schools, colleges, institutions, which is utilized for 5 hours in a day. Morning 10 o'clock to evening 4 o'clock. In 200 days of a year, that is altogether calculated, it will be 100,000 hours. What about the rest of the time? It's almost 6 times of that, the whole year if you calculate. It's lying vacant. It's not utilized. And there are institutions which have better facilities. There are institutions which doesn't have that much better facilities. So if we can link both, those who doesn't have better facilities, they have an option to come to those institutions where they have better facilities. Then it's beneficial for everyone. The optimum utilization of the facilities that is there, that is the aim of the new education policy in nutshell. Whatever we have utilizes for the whole generation, for the whole education community. And VSS has a major role to play. It has a very pivotal role to play in fulfilling this dream of the new education policy's vision. So I hope and I offer my best wishes to the organizers for initiating such an experiment. I am sure that this experiment will definitely prove to be a new path-breaking effort, and it will also motivate many others also to follow this path and go ahead. With these words, let me conclude my opening remarks. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for your thoughts on Vision for a New Young India. Let's now proceed to the proposed events of VSSF, connecting the world through science. Now we have Dr. Subramanya Iyer. Dr. Iyer, one of the patrons of VSSF and a medical doctor of immense repute. He holds the distinction of being the first doctor in Asia to have done a double hand transplant. Dr. Iyer currently serves as the professor and chairman of head and neck surgery, oncology, and craniomaxillofacial surgery at Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences. Dr. Iyer will be addressing us virtually to share insights on how science can connect the world.
I feel really privileged to address you all today. I have been associated with the Vikram Sarabhai Science Foundation's activities in past as a mentor to the younger minds, especially in the field of medical sciences. I have been a teacher in medicine in both undergraduate and postgraduate level, both nationally and internationally for the past 2 decades. But I have to admit that one of the areas where I get the greatest joy of teaching is when I interact with the students during the various fora that has been I have been associated with, that has been run by the VSSF. To me, the amount of the way the students interact during these sessions, their yearning for knowledge and their queries which ignite your mind also to think about how to answer them and how to increase their knowledge in the medical field is really fascinating. And I would say that you feel amazed about the enthusiasm shown by these children during these sessions. The feedbacks you get during the session and afterwards really is amazing. And then you feel motivated by the amount of influence you have created in the younger minds with your interaction. I would say that medical field is one of the integral part of the ocean of science, or the ocean of the scientific knowledge. And because of its essential nature, it is an area where everyone needs to be having some amount of in-depth knowledge about, especially in the trying times like this. So I would say that such a forum that is being promoted now is of greatest importance, and it will make the amount of knowledge that is available for the younger minds in a much better way. And I assure my full support and wish all the success for this new venture. Thank you very much.
Next, I invite P. Vijayan IPS, Inspector General of Police, a great nation builder, to share his thoughts. Welcome, sir.
Very good evening to one and good afternoon to one and all. Respected Union Minister for External Affairs, Shri V. Muralidharan sir, our great patron and great mentor, Dr. Indira Rajan, and my dear friends, Mr. Nandakumar, Ranjit, George Thomas, and Srishant, the great Indian player, and dear friends. Actually, I'm a proud Indian after all, besides that's being a police officer. And I always find really inspired by any achievement being made by India. And my dream is that at least my lifetime, I would like to see that India is becoming a superpower in the world. But to my, I used to wonder that. We used to say that we have been achieved a lot during the post-independence period. It is true that we have done great things. You know, we have a very vibrant democracy. We have a relatively highly, means the fifth largest economy in the world. And we have a large group of scientific community. And we have achieved in many things. But I wonder, you know, that during the last 73 years of journey, could you cite one thing which the pioneered by India, especially in the field of science? You just, I used to ask to any community, any serious community which I ever happened to meet and ask them, that is, you cite me, give me one product or one process which have been pioneered by India since independence and which has been sought after by the rest of the advanced world. I yet to see one thing. And when we go back to this reason why India has failed to think loud, why India has not produced such a remarkable contribution the pioneering contribution in the field of science and technology. The reason goes back to the history that is the 1836 Macaulay Minutes. The 1833 Macaulay Minutes says that is they want to produce an Indians which can support which they want to create an Indian educator which will be very docile in thinking, with subservient in their attitude, which will be serving the interest of the Britishers. And unfortunately, during the post-independence period also, we could not make much changes in our education policy. But very thankful to the present system, we can say that, you know, the new education policy, in that respect, it's highly path-breaking. It enables the person to think. It foresees that is the person should think. Where we, especially you look at the Keralites, we have produced a large number of engineers, large number of doctors, but yet to see that a new an interesting product or interesting process, a way of treatment or a medicine, which has been invented and pioneered by India and sought after by the world. But one thing it has happened is everything went bad during the COVID period. But one thing went very good for India. That is, I was, as a passionate, proud Indian, I was very, very enthusiastically looking at that scientific community, whether we could find out any vaccine or invent a vaccine. The Covaxin is one answer which we can say that is, we could pioneer and we can give to the rest of the world. Now we can say that we have started thinking independently in that way. You know that when the people stop thinking and just becoming an imitator, then we cannot become a leader in the world. When there was actually an interaction with the scientific Vikram Sarabhai Space Center director and team in police headquarters, he was talking about the leadership and the achievements from the SSLV to the SLV to the GSLV, the journey they were talking about. Our question was that, can you say that something which is not being followed by we are not just imitating the others' technology, which we are pioneered, or something it is there in our dream, we will do which other people are not done so far. But he was telling that we have done many things, but we never thought of something which we can do innovatively in our own. So the thing is that if we have to be a leader in the world, we have to think independently. We have to pioneer independently, and then the world will respect us. If we imitate the world, we cannot be leader in the world. So here it is the investment the VSS is supposed to do, that is in the young minds, to think loud, to think beyond their limitations, and to cross the boundary of that is the intellectual salvage which has been created by the British rule, and cross all the boundaries, throw out all the boxes and then start thinking. I hope that the throwing out of the boxes and thinking will be enabled by SSF. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. A concept with a difference is the Pragati Innovative School, proposed for commencement from June 2021 exclusively for grade 11 and 12, in tune with the school Department of General Education, Government of Kerala. We intend to provide competency-based training, purely equipping them to branch out to various areas of study in a focused manner with this project. May I request the Honorable Minister to kindly release the concept and the launch of this project. Today is the dawn of a vision that's been seeded into us by none other than our late President and a great visionary scientist, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He constantly reminded us to live his dreams of promoting science literacy within the student community, and our current chairman, Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, instilled the importance of quality education based on the spirit of inquiry along with the science curriculum. The new education policy holds a lot of importance in the changing backdrop of the education system in the country, where emphasis on experiential and inquiry-based learning is gaining prominence. I invite Dr. K.K. Saju, Head Department of Computer Science, CUSAT, and advisor of VSSF to speak regarding the same.
President of the function, Dr. Indra Madam, Honorable Minister for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs, Sri V. Muralidharan, Namaste, people and dignitaries on and off the dais and friends. I think I have been asked to talk about the NEP. I seem to be lots of words because it was science and now it is NEP. NEP, actually the National Education Policy, as we all know, some of the states have implemented the National Education Policy. The central government has come up with a very innovative policy which is going to take care of the entire needs of the students right from the age of 3 up to the period when they complete their graduation. So since it is a science initiative, most of the tidbits that are required for my very small speech I have got from everyone here, starting with Miss Sujitra, who has come out and said a lot of things about science. So students regularly ask me, what is the difference between science, engineering and technology? So that is where the root cause of our confusion starts. And somebody very clearly named a app which describes science as fuzzy synapse. So this is from Stanford, where an Indian postdoctoral fellow has named her app as fuzzy synapse, which means something which is confusing. And to bridge that, so synapse is something, the meeting of two neurons, the joining of two neurons. So she has come out with an app which clearly specifies how science has developed, and that will be made interesting for the students to learn. So we all shy away from science. But what is this science really? Science is our power of observation. So 2-3 speakers, including the minister, said why we are not come up with something. Also Vijayan sir has mentioned. See, I'll tell you one example. We have lost the power of observation. Take the case of Dr. C.V. Raman. Right now in Japan, the most used spectroscope is the Raman spectroscope. Most of the papers come out with the Raman spectroscope. But where have we lost the observation? We have lost the observation of the invasion from the foreign forces. Before that, we had Nalanda, Takshashila, a lot of universities where we used to, and Indians were very good observers. We had the theory. We had the theory of freezing mercury at room temperature. So when you have observation, you formulate certain postulates and then you make it into theory, that is science. And when you take this theory and convert it into an engineering problem, solution to an engineering problem, that is engineering. And when you develop the product, then it becomes the technology. So as somebody said very clearly, we have not developed any technologies because we have been following something which is taken from outside. So unless we start observing, make the students start observing, we will not proceed further in science. I hope the new initiative, the science school, will inculcate the habit of observing and observation on this to the students so that they come out with various theories and postulates, and then we can develop that into engineering solutions, and then we come out with technology and products of technology. That is why when India says that in 2030 we will be having the youngest population across the globe, and the new education policy is one weapon by which we will ensure that young population is sufficiently armed and sufficiently skilled so that they will be able to get into proper jobs and create technologies which will be bought by the world. With these words, I thank you all for having invited me and wish the school all success. Thank you.
As a humble pranam to Princess Ashwati Tirunal, we would like to introduce her latest work, History Liberated, the Sri Chitra Saga, to Honorable Minister as a token of our love and affection. Now we have S. Srishant, the cricketer, a well-known sports person and a member of the 2007 and 2011 World Cup winning squad. Please kindly share a few words with us.
A very good evening. Thank you. Thank you once again for having me here. I don't know what I'm supposed to be saying here because it's almost done. So, but anyway, fortunately, I feel really grateful to be here, to be especially with such great dignitaries and especially in this institution, which is going to be the future. So, when it comes to sports, I'm from sports field. So, if I talk about science, then I should be sports science. So, which is keeping me alive now, especially when I'm making a comeback. Yes, science is the only reasons that I could make a comeback now. So, I am wishing the entire team the very best, and I'm very sure that future scientists as well as future superstars will be from this institution. I wish them all the very best, and something which I live by is as long as we breathe, we don't give up. So just keep going strong and believe in yourself. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much. May I Thank you, sir. May I invite Mrs. Viola Krishnamani, Academic Specialist and Instructional Mentor VSS, Founder and MD, Scholarius EDSA Private Limited, Coimbatore, to talk on realigning science in the context of the NEP 2020. She will be connecting very soon. Okay. We'll be now connecting to Mrs. Simi Anderson, CEO and MD, Anderson's Group UK. She is the STEM coordinator for VSS School, and she will be sharing with us the relevance of STEAM in today's concept.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know if I'm audible really. Am I? I am? Okay. Hello. Okay. Yes. Good evening. Yes. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this evening, though it is feeling a bit weird that we can't see anybody in front of us. Because I don't know what has gone wrong at the other end. Seems to be some sort of a tech somewhere. I hope it gets sorted out. Now, I'm very happy to see that the school is being relaunched and realigned to meet the NEP expectations and guidelines. I think, as all of us know, the NEP 2020 is something that is a visionary document. It's a visionary plan and exercise to take India on par with global standards in various aspects of education. But as far as the school is concerned, one of the main things that I would like to mention is that every effort is being made in the school and will continue to be made to ensure that competency building is achieved, because that is the focus of the NEP. A competency-based learning and assessment framework which everybody will go by, and that's the only way we ensure that each child's abilities are brought out perfectly. So it is a question of skilling or upskilling, if you want to call it. It's looking at the raising of standards where the students are concerned and where the teachers are concerned as well. So I think with the new policy that comes in and the realignment that is being planned, I'm sure this is going to be a very different kind of an experience for children, for teachers, and for parents as well. I wish the VSSF team the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Now we have
Thank
Simi
you,
ma'am.
Viola ma'am. Do you want me to start? Am I audible?
Simi, ma'am, you can start.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you to everyone for being here. Dr. Nair, wherever you are, if you are listening, thank you for giving us this opportunity to work with the school in launching the STEAM program. We've had a wonderful 1 year. Dr. Rajan Suchitra ma'am, thank you so much for all your support, and to the parents who have worked with us for this 1 year while we launched the STEAM program. We completed 1 year with great delight. Yes, with great joy, we can say the children have been awesome. Words of yes, it worked. We did this today. We want to log in again. Has excited us, and we are looking forward to the next year in launching even more and more resources for the students. At the core of our program is innovation and sustainability. Students learn independently at their own pace. We just support them as facilitators. We have differentiated programs as well as curriculum links all throughout our lesson plans, student guides, as well as the teacher guides and all the resources. Arts and literacy are embedded in all the activities. We are short of time, but I had a number of resources that we were going to show to you of what we have done and what we plan to do in the future. The key one is engineering and sciences in the pandemic. We have a fantastic new resource base for our students right from grade 1 onwards. So, but I will not be able to share these because we don't have time. However, do connect if anybody wants to know more about these resources. So are we excited? Yes, definitely so. Have we ignited the spark? Yes, we have. And we look forward to working with the school for Beyond Tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Simi ma'am.
Thank you, Simi ma'am, and thank you, Viola ma'am. As we have come to the conclusion of the event, I express my heartfelt gratitude towards the Honorable Chief Guests, the most respected speakers, and other dignitaries for sparing their time and making their presence here. Though right now in their absence, I thank them very much. On behalf of all the dignitaries and invited guests who have gathered here, I extend my sincere gratitude and great appreciation to the coordinators of today's event, because of whom we made this possible, and also towards the Namaste TV and team for doing the live record and the presentation of today's function. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the patient audience for being a part and participant of this event. I conclude by quoting this Sanskrit verse, a translation of the Sanskrit verse. Giving food to the hungry is a great donation, and the donation of knowledge is considered most important among all other donations. By food, one's hunger is fulfilled and one can survive at that point of time, whereas with knowledge, one can survive his whole life. With the permission of all, may we formally conclude the function. I request all of you to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 जय